Welcome back to the workshop. Now, when was the last time we ever saw anybody else? Well, it was a long time ago, so today we're thrilled to be joined by Mr. Mike Pullen of TA Outdoors.
It's been about 2.5 years.
It's been a long time. How are you?
Yeah, good to see you.
We've got a fun project today.
Complicated maybe? Or
yeah, it might be complicated, but I think it's one that's going to be a good little brain puzzle, and it'll be fun to try. You want to explain what we're making?
So essentially it's an auger, it's a hand auger, but it's got a barrel eye in it so that you can put a stick through it to get that twist motion. Two sizes, just an inch and half an inch. That's the small one.
Awesome.
Probably needs a bit of sharpening to be fair.
So we want to try and make one like this, is what we're thinking of.
That's the size I use more.
1 inch diameter,
yeah, 1 inch.
okay.
Because then the wood pegs are going to be a bit stronger.
This could be a challenge. I mean, historically, the blacksmith would have been charged with having to make these for people.
I can imagine, yeah.
You know, so if I'm to have any sort of
I mean, years ago, would they have been able to do that?
yeah, they'd file it.
Would they just file it?
I think so. So I think if we're making one of these, it's going to be a case of making some flat bar, twisting it, and then filing ourselves this little thread. Because it's that thread that's going to pull this into the wood while you twist it, right?
Yeah.
It means you don't have to put insane amounts of downwards pressure. It then feeds itself in while you twist. But I'm quite surprised. It's quite complex. It's got these little ears on here. It's got a number of cutting surfaces that look quite precise. So this is going to be a really good challenge. Just going to interrupt us to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Please go get a free trial of their awesome website building platform at squarespace.com/forge and use code FORGE at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase with them. Let's hop back in. Check this out. Mike just showed me he is still using the bushcraft knife that we made him in a collaboration probably 3 years ago. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good use.
So I hopped on YouTube before you came. There's a really good video by Rowan Taylor and DF in the shop where they're making augers like this. So we've got a little bit of inspiration to start with. This does have the MIG welded on barrel. I'd love to try forge welding it like Rowan Taylor did. So we're going to take this bar of EN24, it's 4340, and we're going to try and forge out the eye, bend it around and forge weld it together. Fingers crossed, this works. So now I'm going to try and offset this central portion off to one side. I'm now going to forge a little bit of a scarf. So I'm going to thin down this one end while cutting it off. This is going to be folded over to here, and you need to make sure that this transition is thin, so that it properly forge welds in and blends with the parent bar. Otherwise you get this big old lump and divot. That doesn't look very good. I'm trying to make sure I keep this as clean as possible so it welds easily, but I don't know how much success I'm going to have with that. That eye does not look very good. Oh my goodness, it looks awful. I haven't been using any flux on my Damascus steel lately, purely because I didn't have any. But due to the nature of the fact that you start with really clean steel when you're making Damascus, you don't really need it. Here, however, it's oxidized, it's scaly. I want every bit of help I can get to get a good forge weld, especially considering we're coming out of a gas forge. So, we've got some flux on there, we're going to close it up. Fingers crossed this works. Mike came all this way, the least I could do is at least make one part of this auger. Time for a forge weld. I think I messed it up. No, it doesn't look like it welded. That's the gap of doom. It didn't take. Now onto damage control. When in doubt, more flux. I think it took. It looks like it stuck that time. Right, let's see if we can get this eye a little bit rounder. Hopefully without popping the forge weld open. Ah! That was a bad idea. There's a rule that I should probably heed, which is the no more, one more time rule. Goodness gracious me. Anytime you think it's the last hammer blow, it's generally best to not hit it because you're likely to make a mistake. I popped open my forge weld. Mike, I am very sorry. We're not going to be able to forge weld the barrel. We've got to get this done in less than 4 hours. So we're going to go back in the forge, forge the blade, and we'll have to weld it. and it'll be a MIG welded construction, just like the ones that you brought today. So while that piece is heating to be cut off and for me to start again, can you tell us what you're using this for? I understand it's a drill bit,
Yep.
but in the bushcraft setting, which is what your channel is, what are you using it for?
Essentially, that's what the kind of barrel eye bit's for. Is the idea is that you can get a stick, whittle down the bark off it, taper it, put the stick in, you then have yourself a handle essentially, that then drives the drill. Now I use it to make holes for wood pegs. If I'm doing something like a mortise and tenon joint or something and I need to secure that joint together, this will help make those wood pegs.
So, you know, there's a lot relying on this. If I don't make you a very nice auger that drills a nice hole, you're not going to be able to make these structures stand up.
No pressure.
There we go. I've already messed one thing up today. Okay, so we've got a little bit of flat bar here forged. We also need to cut this square across. We're going to make a little trident fork here. That'll hopefully get us started. Here's the thing, Mike. Now might be a good time for me to tell you, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I have no idea if this is going to work. So I'm now going to try and form this little flat spot here with a flat bottomed punch. Let us begin the twist. What are the odds I have to start again? This looks like utter garbage. I don't think this is going to work. All right, so here's the deal. I think I've decided that the third time will be the charm. It's 1:51, which means I now have 2 hours to get this done. So I've decided to take a different plan of attack here. Instead of forming the tip and then twisting it, I'm going to try simply twisting it. So I'm just going to try and get a really nice, even twist in as many heats as it takes. And then once it's twisted, I'll then take to the grinder to form the point and the cutting edges. So far, that looks a little more promising. That's probably better than it's been looking all day. Here it is, as forged. Amazingly, after all the trouble, it's starting to look like a thing that drills holes. The question is, can I grind into this the appropriate cutting geometry? We'll have to find that out after a little normalizing cycle.
That looks good!
I'm now beginning probably one of the most critical parts here. It's this screw which drives the cutting faces down into the wood. So if I mess up in the making of this screw and it doesn't suck these cutting teeth down, we're not going to have a very good auger. We're going to the jewelry studio. We should probably see if it cuts before we go straight to the heat treat. So let's see if it'll drill. At least it's nice and concentric. Oh! Oh my goodness! We've only gone and made a drill bit! Look at that beauty! It's a drill bit! Let's cut off a bit of pipe. Okay, let's harden this bad mamma jamma. I'm in a rush because I have a doctor's appointment, so I've unfortunately got to leave way earlier than I'd like to. But we're going to get it finished. Into the quench. So now, just like when we heat treat a hand tool, we're going to scratch up the surface so that we can hopefully see the temper colors. So that blue is now fading into a light straw as it comes up to here towards the tip. I will give this tip a touch with the torch because I definitely don't want that sharp point to be too hard, otherwise that's going to snap. We've got a beautiful blue here at the cutting edge, back into the oil to arrest the temper. Ta-da! Et voilà! C'est fini! So that is cooling off. Thank you so much for coming, Mike.
Brilliant.
That has been
Appreciate it.
an utterly awesome day.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Everybody, please go check out Mike's channel, TA Outdoors, so that you can see him hopefully put this to use.
I'm looking forward to you.
It worked with the power drill. We'll have to find out. In the forest, in the thick of it, will it work there too?
I've got a good feeling. I reckon it will.
Good, I appreciate the optimism. Thank you, Mike. Thanks
Cheers,
for coming.
thank you.
Check him out, everybody. Let's thank our sponsor. This episode has been sponsored by Squarespace, and what I love about the platform is that it truly empowers everybody to get their idea out there in front of the world. If you've got a business idea, if you have a hobby that you want to turn into a jobby, make a little bit of money on the side, if you want to get your name out there to your future customers, you've got to have a website, and it couldn't be easier with all of the incredible themes available through Squarespace's website builder. Everything that you build on Squarespace is going to scale beautifully from mobile to PC, so you don't have to do any of that hard work. You can sell unlimited products. If you sell your time and expertise via video consults, you can use Squarespace's scheduling features to make taking bookings hassle-free. You can sell premium access to content using Squarespace's member spaces, and what's more, you can manage the whole thing and keep your finger on the pulse of your business from your mobile phone. I always love it when you guys build a Squarespace website and you let me know about it. Forged in Ire Forge has just sent me a DM on Instagram showing me his beautiful Squarespace website. He's an up-and-coming blacksmith in California. Thank you, Andy, for building your website with Squarespace. I hope you all go get started today with a free trial at squarespace.com/forge, and then using code FORGE at checkout will get you 10% off your first purchase. Thank you all so much for watching. Big thank you to TA Outdoors. Thank you, Mike, for coming. Bye-bye.